It's good to join you this morning, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. I am Susan Stimpson. I'm chairman of the Stafford County Board of Supervisors, and we're the 7th largest county in Virginia. Married to my husband Dan this September for 20 years, and we have 2 children. I have a 16-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son. And my husband Dan was enlisted in the Marine Corps, and he really had an opportunity to live out what America offers us if you work hard. He enlisted, and then he was able to go to the Naval Academy. And so for the first 15 years of our marriage, we moved around the country while Dan served. So that's another aspect that I'm bringing to the table. I was a military spouse, and that really was a testing and a shaping of me as a person, but it's also the lens through which I govern, that experience in moving to different communities. What was it that our family looked for in a community when we moved there? What were the taxes like? What were the schools like? What was the quality of life? Different things such as that. But I'm going to speak to you about something a little more serious right now, because as Republicans, we have a problem. The Wall Street Journal wrote an article about a month ago now that said that there's only one thing worse than a Democrat tax and spend spree, and that's a Republican one. But what have we in Virginia done, having all 3 houses of government, the governor's office with Governor McDonald, the House of Delegates with Speaker Bill Howell, and the Senate under the leadership of Senator Tommy Norment? We finally have resolved the transportation problem by passing the largest tax increase in Virginia's history. And not only that, we've also put on the table the expansion of entitlements, which just a few months ago, I think we were running pretty hard against President Obama on expanding the health care. If you believe, as I do, in the Republican creed, it speaks to a limited government. See, I believe a limited government keeps the power where it should be, and that's in your hands. It's to make decisions for yourself and for your family. But how many government officials do you know that are willing to vote themselves less power? Because the bigger the budget, the bigger the bureaucracy, the more personnel, the more power and control that government official has. But that limited government I was talking about, it keeps that power with you. It gives you liberty. It gives you freedom. And what does that mean? Well, I believe true liberty and freedom allows you, me, to be the best that God intended us to be. And in Stafford County, I have a record of a limited government. You see, when our Board of Supervisors, the Republicans, took the majority, the first thing we did, we cut our pay by 25%. We were laying a marker. That marker was, there are painful decisions to come, and we want you to know we're going to share in them. The second thing we did was we eliminated an onerous business tax called B-Poll. We are the largest county in Virginia to not charge that tax. During this recession, during the cuts from the state, or the pushing down of the mandates, we've absorbed those, and we have also cut overall real estate taxes 3 years in a row. We took our general administration personnel down to 2004 levels. We didn't just eliminate proposed positions in the budget or just vacancies. Painful, hard decisions. We took our admin staff down to 2004 levels. We targeted our budget in a way that reflects our principles of a limited government. You see, at the state level, we're talking about limited government, we're talking about cutting taxes, but our budget does not reflect that. And now our leadership is raising taxes. You and I know that is not the answer. We do not need more revenue. We need to control our spending. The example in Stafford County, you would think that the sky was going to fall and the world was going to end. And that first year, it took having a spine, believing and knowing that those principles work, and we followed through with it. That next year, Stafford County jumped to #1 in job growth. We've had millions of dollars of economic revenue that has allowed us, as surplus money, that has allowed us to further cut taxes. We've reduced the boat tax. We've zeroed out tax service districts. We've zeroed out and eliminated impact fees. You see, Stafford County isn't just surviving, we are thriving. And I want that same success for all of Virginia. And we as Republicans right now, not only are we doing the opposite of what we say we believe, but we're not engaging the culture where they are. We are insisting, no culture, this is where you are. And the culture says, no, this is where we are, but you keep talking and I'm going to keep moving. And I'll give you an example. When I had a consulting firm, I had to manage some staff, and to get the college kids to answer me, I called them on the phone and they wouldn't pick up. So I could have kept calling them on the phone and I wouldn't have gotten anything done, but I met them where they were and I texted them and I get an immediate answer. We should be engaging the culture where they are and persuading them on why limited government matters. And we're not doing that. But I can tell you, talking about cutting taxes and reduced budgets doesn't really mean anything to families. But when the piece of their pie is getting smaller from increased gas prices, increased personal property because board of supervisors are raising them, the payroll tax, and now we're going to raise taxes on vending machines, recordation, you name the tax, it's in this new bill. Families have nothing left to give. So I'm not doing this because I want to be lieutenant governor or I want to be somebody. I'm doing this because I want to achieve that same result of conservative governing for all of Virginia, because that is what strengthens our families and gives us freedom to make decisions. Thank you. Let me just start. His question is, what will I do as lieutenant governor to shut down clinics that are allowing abortions to happen? And I will say to you, one of the reasons that I am involved in this is that I'm passionately pro-life. I believe that we should be fighting for the unborn, but I believe the message right now that the Republican Party is relaying is a message of condemnation on this issue, condemning women instead of affirming life. And so when I speak about being pro-life, that is reflected in the way that I govern, that every life matters. And that's the way that we should be speaking to it in that regard. So the unborn, they're innocent, and it's up to us to protect them, because if you don't have life, then liberty and the pursuit of happiness doesn't matter. What I would specifically say to shutting down the clinics, I can tell you one quick example in Stafford County. We had relaxed zoning around the hospital because we wanted doctors to be able to open up clinics easily. And one of the concerns with that was, would it also allow abortion clinics to locate there? And I did not want that to be my legacy. There was a 50,000 square foot medical building that was going in, and I spoke up about it at a meeting that I was concerned about it. My fellow members didn't particularly want me to do that, but the person in charge of the development on that medical clinic came up to me afterwards and happened to be a member of the board of directors for Birthright, and she was willing to put a land covenant on that building so that the legacy for that building would be that an abortion clinic would never locate there. But secondly, our medical definition in Stafford County, if you want to open a hospital, you have to come into the Board of Supervisors and to the Planning Commission for permission. And if you all are aware, the State General Assembly passed a law that the definition of an abortion clinic has to meet that of a hospital. So there are ways that we can protect life, creative ways, but you have to have someone who's a watchdog for liberty, and that's what I've been, and that's what I will also be at the state level. But I can tell you, I will be speaking to people with dignity, because every person matters, and I don't want us to continue using condemning language on it.